Good morning, students. Today's class, that is a new topic, is primary key. A column. What is a primary key? A column or group of columns in a table which helps us to uniquely identify every row in that table is called a primary key. Then rules for defining primary key. Two rows cannot have the same primary key value. It must for every row to have a primary key value. The primary key field cannot be null. The value in the primary key column can never be modified or updated if any foreign key refers to that primary key. For example, in a table, student ID, roll number, first name, last name, and email. In this, if the student ID is 1 and his roll number is 11 and first name Tom, last name Price, and email is abc@gmail.com. And so as the student ID, if it is 2, then the roll number is 12 and his first name is Nick and the last name is Wright, that is xyz@gmail.com. Again, in next column, if the student ID is 3 and the roll number is 13 and the first name is Dana, the second name is Nathan, and his email address is mno@gmail.com. What is alternate key? All the keys which are not primary keys are called as alternate keys. It is a candidate key which is currently not the primary key. However, a table may have single or multiple choice for the primary key. In the above example, student ID, roll number, email are qualified to become a primary key. But since student ID in the primary key and roll number, email becomes the alternative key, will becomes a alternative key. Then next to candidate key, a super key with no repeated attribute is called candidate key. The primary key should be selected from the candidate keys. Every table must have at least a single candidate key. Here the properties of a candidate key. It must, it must contain unique values. Candidate key may have multiple attributes. It must have contain null value, null values. It should contain minimum field to ensure unequus, unequeness, unequally identifies each records in a table. In the above given table, student ID, roll number, and email are candidates key which help us to uniquely identify the student's record. Here, candidate key in a table, student ID, roll number, first name, last name, and email. For a student ID 1, the roll number is 11, first name is Tom, and the last name is Price, email is abc@gmail.com. In the second column, if the student ID is 2, the roll number is 12, the first name is Nick, and the second name is Wright, email ID is xyz@gmail.com. If the student ID is 3 number and the roll number is 13, the first name is Dana and the second last name is Nation, and his ID, that is email, is mno@gmail.com. Here the student ID is ID, that is prime key is 3, student ID 3, and the alternate key is 13, and the alternate key again is mno@gmail.com. Here come to the next foreign key. A foreign key is a column which is added to create a relationship with another table. Foreign keys help us to maintain data integrity and also allows navigation between two different instances of an entity. Every relationship in the model needs to be supported by a foreign key. This concept is also known as referential integrity. Here, what is a compound key? The next topic. A compound key has many fields which allows you to uniquely recognize a specific record. It is possible that each column may be not unique by itself within the database forever. When combined with the other column or columns, the combination of composite key becomes unique. What is a composite key then? A key which has multiple attributes to uniquely identify rows in a table, which is known as composite key. The difference between compound and the composite key is that any part of the compound key can be a foreign key, but the composite key may or may be not a part of the foreign key. Uh, Here, relational algebra operations. Relational algebra is a procedural query language. It gives a step-by-step process operation to perform queries. Types of relational operations. Select operation, project operation, union operation, set operations or intersection, set difference, Cartesian product, rename operations. These are all relational operations. Then the next topic is select operations. The select operation selects tuples that that satisfies a given predicate. It is denoted by sigma.